Give it a second to start. And it should start. There it is. All right. Now I want everybody to get out a sheet of paper or a notebook, and I want you to write down what we're going to go over. And I will tell you what I want you to write down. Now the reason I'm having to do this is because some of you are going to ask these questions 2 or 3 days from now. Okay? And I'm not going to answer them because I'm going over it right now. The first thing that you need to write down is this tab. The homework tab. The homework tab, I have to explain to everybody what homework tab is because I will get somebody to email me in about 2 or 3 days and tell me they can't find the homework assignments. Okay, so there it is. The class period on. There's the homework. If you notice, what does it coincide with? Which is coinciding with what handout you have. What handout? Most important handout. The outline, the schedule, yes. So if you will look at your outline for the 1 or 2 people that actually printed it out, you will see that it coincides with the homework. Now that's self-explanatory, but we're going to come back to the homework last before class ends, because I want to show you the reasons. One of the reasons I'm showing you the homework, showing you this today, is because of the homework. Quizzes and tests. Quizzes and tests. If I give you a test or a quiz in this class, which I won't give you a quiz, but I'll give you a test, make sure you look in this area right here, because that make sure you mute your microphones until you have a question, because some of you are activating your microphones and it's coming in heavy on this side. So please mute your microphones if you don't mind. Not fussing, just asking. So if I give you a test, like the Unit 1 test, and we go over it in class, after I go over it, I'm going to set the dates on it. And when I set the dates on it, it will pop up in this area right here under quizzes and tests. Now you don't have to write that down, but you can write it down if you want to. I want you to write the stuff down about homework and about study plan, and we're getting there in just a minute. Now the next one I want you to write down is chapter contents. And I want you to write down beside chapter contents, e-text or book online, whichever one you want to write, and study plan. So I'm going to go to print out if you want to print out the book. Now we're going to talk about that. And you hit e-text. E-text, 5-letter word for the book online. Now you can print out this book by hitting the 3 buttons, and you can print out page by page. Now let me go ahead and tell you that each section, and write this down, each section is around 10 pages. They have made these sections about 10 pages long. So let's go back to the outline. Where did I pull up the outline?
I tried to print that the other day, but it wouldn't. Trying to print it like what landscape and all that.
Yeah.
It wouldn't fit on the page. It was cutting it off the way they got it printed up.
I would copy and paste it into another Word document and do it that way. That's what I would do. Okay.
It was just.
I don't understand why it would do that. You might need to check your settings in your computer. Okay, 120. Let me go down and find the outline. I'm doing this for a reason, people. Emails, 120, generic. No, y'all are y'all 120? Yeah. Generic. Which one says outline? I think this is it. There it is. Ignore everything that's not my name. It's not my name. It's not just, I go over the stuff that's important. See here, how many sections are in chapter 1? There's 5 sections. So 5 times 10 is 50. If you print back to front, that'll be 25. You take those 25 pages, put them in your notebook, and you got chapter 1. Same thing with chapter 2. How many sections? 3 sections. 3 is, so therefore you would have 15 pages in another little notebook and call that unit chapter 2. And chapter 3 is 5 sections. 5 times 10 is 50. Half of 50 is 25. 25 pages in another notebook, or you could put them all together and call it unit 1. This is up to you. I'm not going to force you to buy a book, share a book, use book, or do the book online. This is up to you. Okay, so the outline corresponds with not only the homework, but it corresponds with the what? The book online. And there's another reason you need to print out your outline for the 1 or 2 people that's going to do it. All right? That's how you print out the book. Let's go back. Extra problems. Now, first of all, some problems with the word extra and work. All right? The problems in the study plan, and write this down, do not affect your numerical grade. If you get 10 of them right, that's a good pat on the back. If you get 10 of them wrong, you suck. All right, that's all it does. These are just like you going to the internet, printing out 10 problems and doing them for extra practice. And how do you get there? It's right up under the e-text. You go to the chapter and section, and please mute your microphones, please. Somebody's not muted. Okay? You go to chapter 1, you go to section 1, and there is the e-text. And you want to, that's up to you. Now, be wary. Sometimes the video presentations are different from the way I show things. Be wary of that. And that's the study plan and the e-text. That's how you get there. The next one. Again, I have to explain to you what this is. Does everybody understand what grade book is? It's where you find your grade. And it will show you how it's calculated. That's how it's calculated. Homework, 20%. Tests, 70%. Where is that noise coming from? I'm starting to get irritated. Okay? And the no account price. Now that I just pulled up the directions for the math department, and I will be putting that on the Teams page, which will be on your files, under your files. So it will be with all the other handouts. It'll be called Math 120 Project Directions. And it's not very difficult, so please don't make it difficult, because I'm not going to be grading it with a fine-tooth comb. I'm going to be grading it with a big hairbrush. Okay, I'm going to be grading it. Okay, you did a good job. You did very good work. You get an A. You turned in crappy work. You get a C. You didn't turn it in. You get an F. That's how I'm going to be grading. Does everybody understand that? I'm sorry I don't address y'all enough, but y'all are kind of behind me. And I'm looking at them, so y'all need to sit over there. I'm just kidding. All right, so that's a great book. Anybody got any questions on homework? Anybody? Don't ask about homework yet because I'm going back to homework and we're going to talk about homework. All right? Now, let's go back to homework. I'm going to go to chapter 3 and I'm going to pull up a math question because I don't want to deal with no definitions. I'm not an English teacher, so I'm going to pick a problem that has math because that will be one of the problems. I wish I could find one with everything. Let me see if I can find one with everything. Y'all have no idea what I'm talking about, but no, I don't like this section. This is 3.2. Let's move on to 3.3. I believe that's mean, median, and mode. So let me go there. Oh, 3.4. Sorry. Let's try that. No. Oh, come on. There we go. Which I do. In this case, it's not bad. And you see the problem and you're saying to yourself, there's too many words. I don't know how to do this problem. That's what people usually say when they see all those words, right? I don't know how to do this. And you're at home and you're by yourself and you tried to get Hubert and he's passed out somewhere on the couch and it's 10 o'clock at night and you are stuck. Then you hit this button over here that says question help. Now this is the things I want you to write down. I want you to write down, help me solve this. I want you to put that in quotation marks. Then I want you to put a hyphen out beside it because I'm going to tell you what help me solve this means. Help me solve this is a guided tutorial. Somebody tell me what they think a guided tutorial means. What does that mean? Does anybody know? Go ahead.
Step by step.
Step by step asking questions. Write that down beside guided tutorial. Step by step asking. Why would anybody use these? Why would anybody use help me solve this? The only person I can think of that would use help me solve this is somebody that has never seen the material before. Miss Kidd sent me a question a while ago, or yes, was it yesterday?
Last night.
Last night, and I barely was able to. Anyway, we worked on this problem, and I told her it was a new problem because I had never seen it before. And I had to go to help me solve this to see, because the formula that they were using, I didn't see it in the book. Did you? Mm-hmm. It wasn't in the book. So I had to use help me solve this because the formula that they were using was not in the book. And I will show you that problem later on when we start 1.4. Okay? So anyway, the whole point is when you have never seen the material before, that's when you use help me solve this. Well, Hubert, what's the difference between help me solve this and view an example? Okay, write down view an example and put that in quotation marks and a hyphen.
Gmail, new Facebook comment.
Okay. Got a Gmail and a Facebook comment. My phone went off. Y'all supposed to go in cardiac arrest, aren't you? Ain't that what teachers do when y'all have a teacher that goes into cardiac arrest when the phone goes off? People, they need some medicine. All right. What does that mean? That means just show me. Write that down. Just show me. Usually guys use this one because they don't want to hear all those questions. They don't want to fool with all those questions. People that have taken the material before or feel like they're mathematically mature enough to handle it without the questions. And that's somebody that has had math before or probability and statistics before based on whatever class you're in. Like if you're in algebra and you've had algebra before, then you would use, help me solve. You wouldn't use help me solve this. You would use whatever that one is. I can't give you an example. Thank you. All right, so that's what you put beside that one. Well, let's say that those two don't help you and you're fixing to quit school and live in a ditch. Well, maybe the video, oh my gosh, that was a laugh. Video. Well, everybody's not weaned on a pickle tonight. Video. That's for you visual learners. I was fixing to ask you, Richie, what's your daddy's name?
Christopher Mark.
I don't know any. Where are you from?
Half of us are West Anderson.
I know David Ritchie, Kenneth Ritchie.
David, did he make motorcycle shoes?
No, he's a preacher.
No wrong.
He's a preacher and works at Michelin. Okay, I think we got different Ritchies, but you only got 5,000 people in y'all's family. Okay, that's how well I know the Ritchies.
There's a lot.
Yeah, there is a lot of y'all. Anyway, there was like 7 brothers, I believe. Anyway, or 4 or 5 at least. There's your question.
Yeah, that's that
Percentile.
monster.
Yeah, they brought, that's a percentile. That's not the same one.
No,
But it's talking about K. But anyway, there's the video you hit, and there it goes.
Another approach to determining your standing
And he's talking in a
is something
classroom.
called percentiles. Now,
You can tell he's talking in a classroom because of the echo. All right. Go into the book and it shows you how to do it right there in 3.4 in the next page probably. Okay, so that's that. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the book because y'all already know how to get the book. What about print? Well, some of y'all might want to do old school. Do the homework problems on paper and pencil and then type in the answers. Print the whole homework assignment. Don't print one question. One question was what they had before they had Ask My Instructor. Now, here we get to the heart of this class, of Hubert's class. Ask My Instructor, right there. Now, I need some of you to write this down. Swallow your pride. Okay, I want you to write that down. Why? Because people will not send me questions. I want you to send me questions that you do not understand. Now watch this. This is technology at work. I go through all of these things and I don't understand. So as a last resort, I say, I'm going to send it to Hubert. So you hit that button and look at this. You can put your little message. I did that on purpose. I didn't make any sense because I'm going to show you something. Send. My phone should go off saying that I got a work email from work or work email. But anyway, here is my email. And look what I do. I got folders over here. Y'all see those folders? One of them is y'all's folder. And you go to the top and look there. There's my question. It's got my little message right there. And I hit the hyperlink. It's so valuable. The hyperlink. Why is that valuable? Because I don't have to go looking for the question that you are having trouble with, like I had to do with Miss Kidd. Okay? Okay? Well, she didn't know about Ask My Instructor yet.
No, I didn't.
So that's why. Now, why does that make a difference for the class? Well, we're going back to the outline because I want everybody to listen to this because this is how things should go this semester, excluding 2 or 3 deadheads. I go over 1.1. When am I going to go over 1.1? When I get through talking about classroom logistics and My Labs Plus and Blackboard and all this stuff. I'm going to go over 1.1. If you watched my videos on 1.1, you will see how I do that. I go through, I'm going to be every word or definition, and I tell you what's going to be on the test. And then at the end, when I get through with 1.1, I will say these words. I will say, all right, you are ready for 1.1 homework. Now, when I say something to that effect, you know what that means? That means you need to finish 1.1 homework and send 1.1 questions before Thursday. Because what will I look for Thursday? I will look for questions. All right, now here's the gist. What if I don't see any questions in the 120-11 folder? I'm going to what?
Means nobody did their homework.
No, well, that's what it shouldn't mean. It shouldn't mean that. That's what for 2 or 3 people it does mean. But for the majority of the class that does do their homework, what does it mean if I don't see any questions? It's going to make me go to the 1.2. So either I'm going to hold up and go over questions in 1.1, or since there's no questions, I'm going to move to 1.2. Now, there's 2 or 3 people in here right now. One person is saying, oh, well, I'll just do everything at one time. No, I'll get you, because when I'm on 3.5, I will not accept questions from 2.3 or before. You'll have to see me out of class, because I'm not going to enable people to procrastinate. And if I'm on 3.5, you should be on 3.1 through 3.5. You should not be on 1.1 through 2.3. So if I'm on chapter 3 material and you send a question on 1.1 or 1.2, then that means you got to see me outside of class, because I'm not going to take time to go over 1.1 material, because you should have done that. Person is going to be mad because I do go over 1.1. Now let me tell you who should be sending questions in. The people that have questions, or the people that are worried about, I don't know if I'm going to pass 120. Okay, well, you need to actually send me the questions. Because if you don't send me the questions, are you going to stay up with the class, or are you going to get behind? You're going to get behind. The squeaky door gets the what? Good job. Your parents did good. The rest of y'all, it's your parents' fault. The squeaky door gets the what? It gets the grease or the OIL. I do not pronounce words with OIL in them. Anybody want to know why? Because there's always some smartass in the class that tries to correct me when I say words with OIL in it. So I do not say words with OIL, I just pronounce OIL. Y'all seen that, it makes me laugh every time. Y'all ever seen that commercial, Subway commercial with the football player and the protein bowls? Have y'all heard him say protein bowl? It's hilarious. Every time he says it, I like crack up. So that's what people do when I pronounce words, so I just don't say them. All right, so when we get into LOGs and natural LOG, you will know why I say LOG instead of actually pronounce LOG. Now some of y'all are pronouncing those words in your head to see how you pronounce them. Just pronounce BOIL, FOIL, and OIL, and see if you go through your nose when you do it. All right, so any questions so far about how this works? Okay, now the question that everybody's going to ask. When is the test? When is the test? When's the homework due? Who's going to ask those questions? The only people I got two friends. That's about the only two I have. I've got two friends, and both of them are builders. One builder is like a fifth generation builder. His family's been building houses since like log cabins. And you ask him to build you a house, he'll say, okay, let's meet with the bank, blah, 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 blah. We need to do this, we need to do that, we need to do this, we need to do that. The other one, before you even start, you know what he's going to ask? When do you need to have it by? He will wait 3 months before the closing or whatever, and that's when he will start building on the house.
Wow.
Okay, I'm exaggerating, okay?
Yeah,
But what I mean is, the other one will be through, you'll have the closing at the bank, and boom, you'll be in the house before your deadline. The other one, he's gonna be putting on stuff at midnight, 2 or 3 weeks right before the closing or whatever. That's the difference. Okay, I'm finished with 1.1. Now, we're not going to do one section. I'm going to cover probably chapter 1 and chapter 2 in 2 classes. Okay, if you want to see how I'm going to cover it, go to the last semester and go to 1.1, 1.2. You will see how I cover it. But if I cover 1.1 through 1.4, then I'm going to say at the end of the class, okay, everybody should be able to get through 1.1 through 1.4 by Thursday. These are definitions, people. These are not math problems. These are definitions. I don't know. How many problems are on these problems? 10?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, there's not many problems. And then I'll go over 1.5 and maybe get to 2.3. And I'll say, okay, you should be ready for 1.5 sections on 1.5 through 2.4. What am I going to assume? That you know it, and I'm going to head into the 80% of your test math sections, which is 3.1 through 3.2. I'll probably go over each section per class because it's math, and that's 80% of your test right there. And here is the magical question. When you going to put the dates on the homework? Well, here is, I want you to highlight. I want everybody to take a highlighter out, and I want you to highlight that section right there that says review for test. And I want everybody to do it because I don't want anybody, somebody's going to ask me this question in the next 2 weeks, and I'm not going to answer it. When we are on 3.5, somebody tell me what the next line says. Review for what? And I want you to write out, Hubert will go over the test in class, because that's what I'll do. If you don't believe me, go to last semester, YouTube, for those 1 or 2 people that actually know how to get to my YouTube channel, and look at Unit 1 test review. I will go over the test, I will put the dates in it, and then I will put the dates on the homework. What do you mean the dates? I'll put the ending date. The opening date, the starting date was 1 yesterday or whenever I posted them. I ain't got to give you, you ain't worried about the starting date, you're worried about the what? The ending date. Now let me go ahead and tell you about the test. Write these 3 things down. The test, you will have 5 days to take the test. That's to take care of all y'all's, lightning striking your house, all those excuses that y'all have. And you do not email me and tell me that you forgot. I will not even entertain that. Okay? You have 1 week, you have 5 days to take the test. You have 3 attempts, write that down. You have 3 attempts, and I'll go over all of this during the review. You have 3 attempts. My Lab's math will take your highest grade. Write that down. That is a bonus question. On your test, there's a test question that says, how does Hubert grade his test? I take the highest grade out of the 3 attempts. Well, let's say Miss Ritchie, being the intellectual person that she and her family is, she makes a 98 on her first test. And did you get a reply? Hail to the no. Because what will she get if she does not take the 2nd and 3rd test? What will she get? What will My Lab's math give her for those 2 non-attempts? 0. Okay, now I'm going to ask y'all a question. I have to do this because y'all will send me this question. What is 98? What is the highest grade between 98, 0, and 0? 98 is your highest grade. So please don't send me that email. If I've made a 98, do I need to take the other 2 tests? That's up to you. But a lot of people would be very happy with a 98. Now, if you make a 76, I would suggest you take the test. If you make a 82, I would suggest your test. But a 98, 99, or 100, there's no need to take the 2nd and 3rd test unless I didn't say anything.
Yeah, she was like cutting him eyes over
I didn't
here.
say nothing.
I saw that.
I didn't say anything. All right, so the whole point is, I want everybody to understand. I'm going to go over this one more time. On the review for test 1, I will go over the test with you in class. It will not be the same test that you take, but it will be similar. It will give you an idea on how I test. I will also give you the termination date for the test and the homework. The test will be 5 days. You have 5 days to take it. You have 3 attempts, and the computer, My Lab's math, will take the highest grade and put it in your grade book. Now, I'm going to open up for test and homework questions at this time. Because usually somebody what?
Schedule.
You look at the schedule and you see where I am. You would be surprised on how many students will ask that question. Well, how do we know when the review is? Well, you look and see where you are in the schedule. And I ask them, I say, do you have the outline printed out? No. Okay, you're adults, people. You have to fend for yourself. Who's got questions on the homework or the test now that I went over? Who's got questions on My Labs Plus? Who's got questions on My Labs Plus?
How many tests are you going to take in this class?
Say again?
How many tests we're going to take in this class?
Okay. Do you have your outline in front of you?
Not right now.
Okay. Look at your outline. Test number 1. Two. Test number 3. Test number what?
4.
4. And the final exam.
5, 6.
Are y'all starting to see how the outline is like the Swiss Army knife? Okay? It not only tells you the homework, it not only tells you the schedule, but it also tells you what to print out. It tells you, as far as the book goes, it tells you where the review for the test are, and it also tells you how many tests there is. The outline tells you everything. And as Miss Kidd said, I would highlight, I would take that, hit Control C. She was talking about the e-text, but I'm talking about the outline. And I would take a new blank document. I'm not a Word document person, so I don't know. Cut. There we go. And just print out this page right here. So Mr. Mance, print out that outline, okay? Now, while I'm at it, what sections did I tell you we were not going over? We're not going to cover, why did it do that? Okay, let me go over this 5.4. I need you to mark that out. Let's hit delete. And 5.6. Delete. Oh well, y'all get the point. All right, I want everybody to do that right now.
5.4 and 5.6.
5.5 and 5.4 and 5.6. Take your outline and semester. I always cut that out. And if you will look, I want to show you on the outline, I meant not the outline. Take your handy dandy, hit the assignment page, and look and see if you see a 5 point whatever. There's no 5.4 and no 5.6. It's a miracle. I'm not trying to be a smart aleck. I'm just trying to tell y'all the most important page in this class is the outline. Everybody should have that outline printed out and laying in front of them during class. Okay? And Mr. Mance, I'm not picking on you. Every class, if I have a class with 10 people, 8 people are going to print that out. 2 people aren't. So I guarantee you in this class, there's probably 3 people that hasn't printed it out. Ask the instructor for whatever they want. And I'm not playing that game. This is not K through 12. Anybody got another question? Are y'all telling me that I covered it so well that y'all don't have any questions?
No, I was wondering.
Say again?
I was wondering why were you skipping chapter 8?
We're skipping chapter 8 because the person that's in charge of Math 120 was told to take sections out for this shortened semester, and chapter 8 was taken out. Who's got another question? Not even saying. Who's got another question? Anything on classroom logistics, anything on my methods, anything on My Labs Plus? Reminder of that, the first section, 1.1, because I doubt very seriously I'll get very far. So I'm going to take my handy dandy chapter contents. I'm going to go to 1.1 and I'm going to hit the e-test. Now, what I usually do in chapter 1 and chapter 2 is I go through and I tell you what's important and what's not important. And where is, I usually have, where is the Zoom feature? Usually, oh, there it is. No, that's not it. That's search. Where is Zoom? Usually you can Zoom.
There was a.
Right here.
No, this one doesn't have it. Look up there in the 3 bars. Up
Right here? Okay, there it is.
there.
Usually they put it. First, and lowercase statistic. So your notes today, the first thing you're going to write is capital S statistic. Capital S statistic is, and you can write what I say because I cut to the chase, the science of collecting, organizing, summarizing, analyzing, and interpreting data. That's what it is. And you can write part of it with that first sentence and then say interpreting data. Science of collecting, organizing, summarizing, analyzing, and interpreting data. Data meaning whatever you get from the public, meaning information, whether it be surveys, whether it be, voting, or whether it be information that you get from other entities like the highway department. Lowercase statistic is variables used in formulas with the sample. Go ahead and write that down. Variables used in formulas for the sample. Remember, little s in statistics, little s in sample. And I can guarantee you, if you had math and you had probability of statistics in high school, they said little s, sample, statistic, little s. Variables used in formulas for the sample. And then I want you to put out in parentheses, alphabet. X, S, just use X and S. In other words, if you're in a you present X bar, then X means that is of the sample. If you put a mu, then that's of the population. We'll get to that next. Okay, so lowercase statistic is variables used in formulas for the sample. And I want you to highlight the lowercase s and highlight the S for sample to make that association. So what?
Lowercase s.
And the S of sample. Highlight it or underline it. That's the way for you to associate, to remember that. Now remember that the sample is the smaller of the two. Can anybody that's had probability before tell me what the big guy is compared to the sample? Starts with a P.
Population.
The population, write that down. Population. And the variables used in a population are called parameters. Write that down. Parameters are used in the population. Well, what's a parameter? A variable used in the formula for the population. Variable used in the formula for population. And right now, everybody's saying, he's not going with the book. No, I'm not. Because the book sometimes can be a little bit wordy.
I'm sorry, can you,
Variables,
not that one, the other
Okay.
side of the sample is population.
population uses parameters. Population uses parameters, and a parameter is a variable used in the formula for population. And then put in parentheses they did Mu, I'm gonna write with the mouse, and sigma. Mu looks like a funky M, and sigma looks like a O with a pompadour on top. Mu is MEW, and sigma is SIGMA. Technically, it's lowercase sigma, but we're not gonna worry about that because you're gonna see uppercase sigma later. Mu and sigma. So if you're in a presentation and I'm saying, okay, X bar is equal to 28 years old, 28 years of age, and mu is equal to 36 years of age, then you, being the good math student, will say to yourself, okay, so the sample population is 28 and the population, sample age is 28 and the population. And we'll get into that later, okay, when we get into the mathematical formulas. And that's what it's saying right here. The sample is always smaller. Sample is always a subset. It's always smaller. A good example would be how many people at Tri-County Tech, how many students at Tri-County Tech are in the Marlboro Club or the Camel Club or the whatever club, in other words, the smokers. And the sample would be doing a survey at the Anderson campus. The sample would be Anderson campus. The population would be Tri-County Tech students. A sample is always the smaller of the two. And look at here, lowercase statistic, and this is their definition, is a numerical summary of a sample. And that's pretty short and sweet, but it doesn't tell you what the I think mine is a little bit better. Let's go ahead and write down descriptive statistics. Now, some of these, all of these that I'm going over with you, they're not only on my unit test. Can anybody tell me what other tests they're on? I'm sorry.
Final exam?
No, I'm past that. Can anybody tell me what's past final exams? Outside academia, maybe. Come on, high school students.
You know how long it's been going on?
1,000 years, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what people say when they're not right out of high school. You ask them, how long has it been since? Oh, it's been 50,000 years. Come on, high school students, what tests are important outside of the college, outside of the high school?
SAT?
We're real well.
Standardized testing.
Oh, look there.
Standardized testing. Standardized testing not only means the ACT and the SAT, but give me some in college. Come on, you're in nursing, aren't
The
you?
nursing, yeah, you.
What's it called?
Input.
It's called, I thought it was called the T
T test, TEAS.
the T's
yeah.
test. What about if you go to Michelin, are they going to give you a test to see if you're cognitive? Yes. They're going to give you a test. They're going to give you a test to see if you got good sense. Not to mention the daggone psychological test to make sure you ain't going to go postal on anybody. Okay? The whole point is you have tests outside of high school and college. Descriptive versus inferential, that's a test question. Parameter versus lowercase statistic, that is a test question. So I'm telling you what's important. You're welcome. All right, so let's go and no, I don't want to. Okay, what is descriptive statistics? Descriptive statistics that you obtain. What would be an example of you obtaining data? Well, going out and asking people what's their age. That's you obtaining data. Going out and asking people if they drive a Chevy, a Dodge, or a Ford, or a other. That is you going out and getting data. What about inferential? Inferential is based on something that's already been done. Uses methods that take a result from a sample, extend it to the population, and measure the reliability of the result. In other words, you are taking data that's already been done or that's already been, obtained. Going to the highway department and asking for data on drunk that would be inferential. And you're also going to try to make a prediction based on inferential. In 2021, you're going to predict that there's going to be so many death by drunk drivers in 2021 based on the data you obtained from the highway department. And there's your parameter right there. Parameter is a variable used in the population, and it's usually a Greek letter. And two examples would be mu and sigma. So we just covered 2 or 3 pages of 1.1. So what you need to do, if you want to, you can go through and you can write down the book definition of all those that we just went over. That's up to you.
Yeah, that's confusing.
But I can tell you something, you will understand my definitions a whole lot. No, it's just because I'm good at what I do. I consider myself good at what I'm doing. All right, so let's move on. Next. And that's not very good because considering who I measured against with some of y'all's other teachers, that's not very good. I'm just kidding. Some of y'all's teachers do suck. All right, let's go. Variables are letters used in formulas. I think everybody, y'all have to go through 101 and 102, I think, to be in this class, or Algebra 1 and Algebra 2. If you go through Algebra 1 and Algebra 2, or 101 and 102, and you don't know what a variable is, I'm sorry. You should know what a variable is. A variable is a letter used in a mathematical formula. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and tell you one time, but I'm not going to spend any time on that. You should know what that is. Oh yeah, here we go. This is a test question and a standardized test question. Qualitative data. Qualitative data is a numerical. Thank you. I got it backwards. Qualitative data is based on numerical. Thank you. And quantitative, I've got it backwards again.
Quant and qualitative. Thank
you. Quantitative is by numbers. Qualitative is blonde brunettes and redheads. That's the way I usually do it. Which are what? What's blondes, brunettes, and redheads?
Visual.
Give me the average of a blonde, brunette, and redhead. You can't do it. It is a characteristic. Or I could say sharp fingernails versus dull fingernails. Okay? Or I could say foot sizes. I'm sorry, no. I could say, what do you call shoes that's opposite of?
Keep going out.
Eyes and green eyes. Do you know how much of the percent of the population has green eyes?
2.
How'd you know that? That's not many people know that.
It's the same as the amount of redheads in the world.
Yeah. Oh, it is?
Just about, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that about redheads. I knew they were, low, but green and then brown eyes. Of course, the brown eyes are the best. So there's a lot of people with brown eyes. All right, qualitative. That's like I said. That is a test question, and quantitative is a test question. What is quantitative? Well, the average age in the class. Age, weight, height. Now, let me ask you a question. This is what they put on a standardized test. Now, be careful before you blurt out the answer. Zip codes.
Can't add them.
Very good job. Qualitative. Write that down because that will be on a standardized test. Zip codes. I just forgot. Social security numbers and area codes. Those all are three qualitative data that people think just because they're numbers, they're quantitative, but it's not.
Mhm.
And let's look down here. Gender, qualitative. Temperature, quantitative. Because you can take the average temperature. Number of days during the past week that a college student studied, quantitative. Zip code, qualitative. Those are 4 good test questions right there. Please write those down. Qualitative is characteristics. Quantitative is mathematical. I would put average beside mathematical. Can you take the average of blonde, brunettes, and redheads?
No.
No. So that's qualitative data. Can you take the average of zip codes? No. If you took the average of zip codes, you might get a crazy number. You probably get a 5-digit number, but it wouldn't mean a damn thing, huh?
It'd be insane.
Yeah, it wouldn't mean anything. Because you could come up with a zip code of 29726, and that would mean nothing as far as the zip code in South Carolina. I'm not saying that it would come out to be 297. I'm just saying that, and all 5 of them are in South Carolina that you used. See what I'm saying? It would mean nothing. Same thing with if you took my social security number and averaged it with your social security number, it would mean nothing. It might be the social security number of somebody in South Carolina, since me and you are from South Carolina, whoever I'm with is from South Carolina, that I averaged it with, then you might get one that's, but very seldom.
Did you say temp was a qualitative?
Quantitative, because
Adam.
average temperature, you hear meteorologists say the average temperature last year was, that is quantitative. Okay, another test question right here. Discrete and continuous. And this discrete and concrete means that you can predict or locate the number. Write that down. A discrete variable is something that is predictable or locatable. Now, what does that mean? Somebody tell me what 4/2 is. 1/2? No, 4/2, not 2/4. 2. Is that going to be 2 no matter what happens? Then it's predictable. Somebody take your calculator out and take the square root of 2. Somebody in the virtual world do that, and somebody here in the classroom, Miss Kidd's doing it. I'm going to hit the button right here. The square root of 2, give me the digits. Miss square root of 2. No, the square root of 2. You got to take 2 and raise it to the 1/2 power. Okay, that's all right. I'm not gonna ask you any more questions, Miss Kidd.
Don't do that.
You're pretty much a loser.
I am.
All right, somebody give me,
I'm old.
somebody that Miss Kidd, that's not Miss Kidd, somebody give me the square root of 2.
1.41.
Hold on. 1.41.
1, 2,
Keep going.
4, 2,
Keep going.
1, 3,
1, 3.
5, 6.
What did you say? 5, 6?
Yes, sir.
Keep going.
2,
Can you
3,
tell me what?
2, 3,
2, 3,
7, 3,
7, 3,
09,
09.
5.
Because most people, and I mean that, this is a joke, okay? All right? Because somebody will call my department head and say I'm gambling in class, even though it's a dang statistics and probability course. Oh, I have that all the time, and we're not going to talk about that, but we'll talk about it later. All right, somebody tell me what this next digit is. Now, if you have a calculator that goes further than 10 digits, you can tell me. But I want somebody to put your calculators away, because you're not, unless you do have a calculator. Look at those numbers and tell me what the next digit is. What's your answer? Yes or no? I mean, can you tell me what the next digit is?
No,
Why?
because it's not predictable.
It's not predictable. There's no pattern. Now, somebody take, let me just do this, because this is the easiest way. Good examples here, so you need to write them down. Take my handy dandy calculator out. Make it bigger, good gracious. I'm trying to get a better for my laptop, because I don't want to buy one for the classroom. A better, it's called TI Clearview. I think it's called Clearview. It takes up the whole screen and it shows you the whole, it's better than this. And they don't want to buy it for the classroom. Heaven forbid we buy something that would help students. But anyway, I'm going to take square root of 2. That's 2 raised to the 0.5 power. That's the easiest way to take the square root of something. There it is. Now I'm going to take 3. I'm going to 7 right there. I'm going to cover it up with the arrow. Okay, because that don't exist. Can anybody tell me the next digit on this 2 right here? No, you can't, because there's no pattern. Now, if you have a calculator like we just had, you can see the next digit. Or unless you by hand calculate it, you can't. But what's the next digit if I cover up that 7 right there? What's the next digit after that 6? 6. And that is the difference between continuous and what? Discrete. Continuous is the square root of 2. 1/6 or 4/2 is discrete. Now I'm going to put it in, and then we're going to shut up after this, after I finish discrete and continuous. What is discrete in the look what I just highlighted. Anything you can count. Write that down. Discrete. Anything you can count. So if you go out and you survey people in the parking lot tonight and ask them if they're going to go home and watch TV, that is discrete. What if you go out and take a scale and measure people's weight? That is continuous. Why? Okay, I'm gonna ask this one question. I'm gonna ask the females because they are always complaining about it. I was married, so I know what y'all complain about. All right, here it is. How many of you, your home scale works right, but your doctor scale is wrong? Yes or no? I got 3 females here.
The gym was.
Thing that starts with an M. Does anybody know what that word is? Measured. Anything measured is continuous. So what's measured? Meters, liters, grams. What does meters represent? Length, distance. Length and distance. Write that down. Continuous, length and distance. Meters, liters, and grams. What's liters? Volume. What's grams? Weight. Now, I just gave you 2 valuable test questions. People will miss this question on the test.
You said length and width.
Meters, liters, and grams.
No, you said length
And distance.
and distance.
People will miss this on the test. The height of a tree. That's one of the questions people miss. Continuous because it's height. Meters, liters, grams, and I forgot height. Height is in there too. Anything that is measured. Okay, let me look at the time before somebody blows up. I've already called the roll, so all I need to do now is present screen, turn it off, and it stopped recording.